You know, people go into writing groups to get their pages critiqued, to get their chapters critiqued. What they don't do is get the first product that's going to be representing them critiqued.
We're talking about the query letter, right?
We're talking about the query letter, but you didn't get a sense that there would be any romance here. So this writer is wondering, in chick lit genre, is the presence of a love interest important and or mandatory? Because you didn't hear any men on the page. What's this story about? Give me a sentence. You don't know, do you? Do we know this author has a funny voice? Okay. Do we believe that this author probably is real familiar with this tapestry? Okay, we believe that. So do we think to ourselves she probably could execute this kind of storyline if we knew what the storyline was? Okay. How many of you wondered why dogs are dying? Okay, and how many of you, why didn't you raise your hand and say, what about the dogs dying?
What about the dogs dying?
Okay. What about that?
What is hard for me, I'm struggling with genres. And for me, for this, I don't necessarily know if it's chick lit. It has a funny, breezy top layer, but I think it covers a lot of issues. Like, I think it's kind of a post-mortem on what's happened in our country in the last 10 years. Like, what it is this naive girl that's seeing things are happening in the corporate world that she can't understand and that she doesn't know how to deal with, and she kind of gets into trouble because of her being naive, and her old values just don't fit anymore. You know, I was in the beauty industry, now I'm working with dog food with these people, and what happens is that sort of she falls into these traps where she finds things that are corrupt or wrong, and one of them is that the pet food is tainted. Well, that was a story.
Did we know that?
Yes.
That was
No,
a story,
no.
but that did
True.
happen in the news. So it's kind of based upon that what does this girl do when she finds it? And what happens in our culture when someone is the whistleblower? What happens when someone is the person who stands up? And this foo-foo girl who everyone sees a certain way has to deal with all these issues.
Okay,
So
and I'm gonna stop you.
I was hoping she was killing the dog.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop her, because what has Alana told us now?
Now,
What the
she
book
gave
says.
us the hook, she gave us everything.
You see?
I'm the whistleblower.
You see? Did we know that?
Full of-
Now, you know this, I always get at least one or two of these queries from an author who has spent enormous time writing a book that she obviously has passion about, because we heard it, didn't we? Didn't we just hear it? Okay. Did we hear any of that passion on the page?
No, not
Okay.
until now.
Okay. Did she say that she's not sure about the genre?
Yeah.
Welcome to the world.
Okay. And do we see that on the page that she's not sure about the
Yes.
genre?
Yes.
Okay. Does this author have some work to do?
Yes.
Okay. This is why I encourage people to really vet your query letters. If you've got a story that has generated the kind of emotion that she just shared with us, you know, about being kind of dismissed because she's just a girl. Yeah, she's just a girl in the beauty industry. If we heard that this gal was trying to plug into that her life was mirroring what was going on in the bigger world, would that be closer to the story that she's trying to tell? So that if you got 20 rejection letters, I'm not surprised, because what's on that page is almost a cliche. It is first of all, chick lit is just, it's saturated the market. That trend hit 2 years ago, and it's on the downswing. So an agent, even if an agent was interested in chick lit, had represented it, agents know that they're not selling, okay? That their heyday is gone, they're on the downswing. Now, it'll come back up, because that's the business. It's like real estate. up and down and up and down. But it's down now because because the girls, primarily, young women your age, are not buying like they used to. Okay. So if this is a story that is heartfelt from this author who wants to explore a socio-political issue, right? Because that's what you want to do, okay? And is that what your book does?
That's what the book does, but that's not what the query letter does.
Right. So now she's got her homework, doesn't she?
Thank you.
And so probably when she gets that query letter nice and tight, and when it's truly representative of what her story is about, she might get more attention. Okay? Because what this is a red herring. This doesn't tell, this says something that it isn't. It says, it's going to be about this, but it isn't. Okay? And that's, and it's very common for writers to do this because we write to write books. We don't learn to write query letters. But you got to write them. You got to know how to write them.